That account I built to about 40,000 followers and it got shut down. No notice at all. No one told me anything. They're just like, yeah, your account's shut down. I did it again. I made a brand new account, got it up to 20,000 followers, and the exact same thing happened again. I'm gonna give you the exact message framework that we use to do $40,000 in cash as well as $100,000 in revenue on a brand new Instagram account in just 60 days. All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome back to another episode of the Content, Coffee, and Communication Podcast, a show where we talk about communication and sales and content and personal branding and social media and everything kind of put into one beautiful package. And in this episode, as you can tell by the title, is we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why Instagram is better than TikTok. And I know I'm going to have the TikTok fanboys and fangirls just already in the comment section. They're like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. What are you talking about? There's no way TikTok beats out Instagram. And what I'm going to cover in this episode is really taking this from not just theory, right? Not just doing this one time, because a lot of people like to argue that TikTok is better, but they've done it one time for themselves and it's not super repeatable. This is something where I've put TikTok and Instagram to at each other's throats with 5 different Instagram influencers, with my own accounts, 3 or 4 different times. And also with just different brands and my business partner and other people's brands, is every single time. Here's the caveat, right? Every single time from a sales standpoint and from a making money standpoint, Instagram beats out TikTok every single day of the week. Now, if you're looking for reach and views and these vanity things that, to be honest, aren't really super valuable unless you're working with brands that haven't gotten smart to the fact that Instagram is better than TikTok yet, by all means, that could be your platform. But again, this is all going to be based on data, based on trial and error, doing it over and over again. So just understand that this is backed by data and you're going to have exactly what you need. So by the end of this episode, what I promise you will have is, number 1, what platform you should double down on, right? Which one you should just really focus all of your time on. And I also want to give you a lot of the messaging frameworks, because one of the things that I believe Instagram does far better than TikTok is just their messaging platform overall. And I'm going to give you the exact message framework that we use to do $40,000 in cash as well as $100,000 in revenue on a brand new Instagram account in just 60 days. So if you want that, obviously stay throughout the entire episode while we cover these 3 things. Now, before we do jump into those 3 things though, I want to tell you guys just a quick story as to why I do have a little bit of a bias when it comes to Instagram versus TikTok. And that is because TikTok has shut down 3 of my accounts to this date. And the reason, and this is something to definitely know if you're someone that's watching this, that is in the make money online niche, or really any niche or any community on the platform that is a little bit sketchy when it comes to the terms of service. Now, what I mean by that is it all comes down to the financial side, right? Make money online. When people are making claims on Instagram and on TikTok, more specifically TikTok, because I've never gotten an account taken down on Instagram, but on TikTok specifically, they are very, very strict. If you make videos about finance, about money, about making money, right, in that entire realm, they're just kind of finicky when it comes to that stuff. So just understand, if you're in that niche, just beware, right? Be warned. I'm telling you this before you go and spend a bunch of time. But, and this was really with no warning at all. I built up one of the first accounts around our Remote Closing Academy brand. I literally built it. This was back in 2021, end of 2021. So it was still really, really strong in terms of the organic reach. Literally every post that you put out there, it was basically going viral. But, that account I built to about 40,000 followers and it got shut down. No notice at all. No one told me anything. They're just like, yeah, your account's shut down. I did it again. I went and I made a brand new account, got it up to 20,000 followers, and the exact same thing happened again. Got shut down, no notice. I tried to go in and appeal it even, and TikTok's like, no, we don't want you on the platform, so we are going to delete your account. And that one was gone as well. Now, I am on the 3rd account, so it didn't get shut down 3 times. I'm on the 3rd account and haven't had any problems yet, but we shall see. And I will say the new account, the way that we're approaching the content is more sales based as opposed to make money online based. So that's kind of the thing that you look out for. But just forewarning, if you mention, from what I've heard from a lot of these other creators, if you even talk about money, if you even mention money, it puts you in this box that TikTok can go to your account and just basically delete it. So it's not really where my time is spent, again, based on my specific niche, but I do think that there's still some juice over there in terms of the ability to get a ton of views and a ton of followers, I guess you can say, really just depending on the niche that you're in. So I just wanted to kind of preface this conversation by saying that, yeah, like I might have a little bit of a bias because all my accounts have gotten shut down, but at the same time, like the rest of these things that I'm going to talk about don't really have anything to do with that, right? With the accounts or the niche getting shut down or anything like that. They're all pretty separate from that. So the first thing that, going over these three things is just really talking about the messaging system on TikTok versus Instagram. Or maybe what I should say is the lack thereof of the messaging system on TikTok. Now, it's interesting to me why TikTok has not put more money and more time and more resources into making their messaging platform better, because their whole thing as to why they didn't put time and effort into it was because they didn't want it to be like a spammy platform. But if you look at TikTok, where it is these days is every time you swipe, at least on my profile, every time you swipe, you either get an ad or you get a TikTok shop promotion, right? People showcasing a product with the intent of selling it, right? Clicking the little box down below and then going and buying a product, right? That is like what my feed has looked like. And from what I've heard, a lot of people's feeds look exactly like that, which it is what it is, right? It kind of sucks. It's become like a very selly platform. So it's just weird to me that they focus so much time on that as opposed to on the messaging side. And I guess you can get like, if I put my tin hat on, is through the DMs, right? Through the messaging system, is TikTok wouldn't make money from that, as opposed to the ads. They're getting paid directly from that. From TikTok Shop, they're getting paid directly from that as well. So you kind of just have to, that's literally a conspiracy that I just came up with right now. So don't think too far into it. But again, the reason why I focused so heavily on Instagram versus TikTok is in my circumstances, I couldn't care less if someone like watched my video. Right now, obviously, more views equals more page views equals more sales. But at the end of the day, like if I can just get 1,000 people to watch my video and they're high quality people, and at that same time, I can then convert them into messages, I'll take that every single day of the week over the other side, right? Just getting views that don't really mean anything. So with Instagram there's so many, and just to add a little statistic in there, is every single penny that was made from the Instagram test, from the 60-day challenge, was through the DMs. And I'll give you that exact messaging framework here in a second. But it was through the DMs, not through like link in bio or through anything of that sort. So what that should tell you is just people are craving those conversations. People are, if I look back at all the conversations of people that converted over, because, technically we only did about 11 sales to hit that 100,000 rev, 40,000 cash. But that is where the people were converting over. And we can even go down like deeper into that conversation of why that is. And I really believe it's like TikTok hasn't helped. It's like everybody wants to sell something these days, right? Everyone wants to sell things without the work of selling it, right? People just want to send people to a buy now page and just rake in sales that way, which the person on the other end, right? The consumer they don't want to do that anymore, right? They want to people want to buy from people that they like, right? That people that they know, like, and trust. And the only way that you can build up that know, like, and trust is through the messaging platforms. I was actually on a buddy of mine, Omar. I'm in his coaching or one of his coaching programs, and he had a guy on. It's escaping my name. I believe his name is Rory. Rory Vaden, I believe is what his name was. And he was talking about how his company did a study that 58% of people, through this study, and through the study, it's not like, just random facts. Like they actually got like pure people coming in, like peer reviewed, like actual data. Is they said 58% of people would much rather buy from someone that they know, that they like follow on social media, that have like an actual brand versus not, which is massive. And it really just kind of brings home the point of how strong having conversations in the DMs is. So just from the sheer fact of Instagram having a messaging platform and TikTok not having a messaging platform, I'm going to go towards Instagram every single day of the week. And if you're watching this and you have a course or a mentorship or a program or some sort of product, you are definitely going to want to, focus your time way heavier on Instagram as well. So I told you guys I would give you the exact framework of, the messages. And guys, when I tell you that this messaging framework, like if you just go off this episode and you use this messaging framework, you will be able to book calls. You will be able to sell your products almost instantly. I guarantee it. And the reason I can guarantee it is because I've done this with brand new Instagram accounts. I've done this with accounts that have, 1,000 followers. If you just have people that are watching your stuff, it's just a very, very simple way to do it. So here's what you got to do. And you can take this as technical as you want, right? Getting automation and things like that. All you need to do is make a piece of content and create a resource that goes along with that piece of content. So for example, if you're a real estate agent, all you got to do is say, go create a piece of content. For example, let's say 3 steps to buying your first home. What you're going to do is you're going to start off the video and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to give you 3 tips you absolutely need to know before buying your first home. And then you give the 3 different tips, and your call to action is not going to be follow me for more or anything like that. It's going to be, if you want these exact 3 tips that I gave you in an entire document that I made for you, comment the word doc and I'll send it over to you. And all you're going to do is now go to those people, right? You're going to go to all the comments that you get. You're going to reply to their comment on that feed, on your feed, because more comments back and forth equals more engagement. Then you're going to go to that person. You're going to DM them the doc you created. So hypothetically, you create that document. And then all you're going to say is you're going to send them that document over DMs. And then what you're going to do is say this. You're going to say, hey, insert name. Just curious, what had you interested in X, Y, and Z? And this is the beautiful part about this is you're starting a conversation and you're asking them and getting their motivation as to why they reached out to you in the first place. So now, and it's crazy how this happens. It's happened like this is, it's so simple. Again, whether your end goal is to set a call, is to pitch a product, is whatever it is. Again, we sell a $9,800 product. So we have to do it. We don't have to, but we do it on a sales call, right? To increase the closing rate. But when we ask that question, in my case, I ask, what had you interested in remote closing? Is they will then almost every single time give me their life story. They're like, I'm interested in remote closing because I don't like the job that I work right now. I really want to spend more time with my family. I want to go on extra vacations. I want to make more money. They just give me the whole list. And I understand if you know anything about sales, right? And if you don't, that's fine, because I'm going to teach you everything that you need to know. You need to understand and figure out what someone's pain points are, right? If you can figure out what their pain is, you will be able to make the sale almost every single time, minus logistics and things like that. But what it allows you to do is you then figure out what their pain is. And then after going through a couple questions, so those questions, very, very simple. You can write these down if you want, is they're going to give you their life story. All you want to figure out on this messenger conversation is where they currently are, what are their goals, and why have they not reached those goals by themselves? Like, why haven't they reached that part that they want to? And what that can look like is, let's say they tell you, and the cool part is with that first question is it gives you exactly what you need to then go to, answer some of those other questions. So they might give you the full breakdown, right? They might give you the full breakdown of, I really I hate my job right now, which is, where they currently are. And I really just want to travel more, which is where they want to be. It's like, they almost give you all that information right off the bat. So then, you would ask them questions of hey, just curious, where are you currently in terms of the goal that you said that you wanted, right? So you just ask questions, conversational questions. There is no right or wrong answer, but you just ask questions that are going to get you those 3 questions. Then the pitch, all it is, hey, instead of us, hey, John, if you're open to it, I'd love to jump on a 5 to 10 minute call with you to see if what we do to help insert ideal client, right? Insert, what we do to help potential buyers get into their dream home. Is that something you're open to? And then you book the call. That's the messaging framework that made us $100,000. It's, or technically $40,000, $100,000 in contractor revenue. So it's very simple. But at the same time, is I think the misconception is oh, I have a personal brand, so people are just gonna buy from me right away. That's not the case at all, especially based on whatever your price points are. So anyway, all that being said, that's just point number one is messaging is super key. But I did, instead of just saying like number one, messaging, number two, this, number three, I wanted to give you some like tangible action steps that you can take on each of these points. So the second thing, which kind of goes into, really into the first thing, the second thing is Instagram is way, way, way more follower focused, right? So what do I mean by that? Is if you've noticed the way that Instagram or TikTok or, Instagram versus TikTok works is Instagram, you follow people, right? And when you're scrolling on your timeline is you see content that is posted by the people that you're following. And, obviously there's some like suggested people that are sprinkled in there, but for the most part, when you're scrolling on your timeline, you're going to see people that you are following, right? As opposed to on TikTok, it doesn't work that way. Now there is some that are sprinkled, but based on, when you first open up TikTok, what happens is you're defaulted to go to the For You page. And what the For You page is TikTok, they're taking their algorithm and serving you content based on what they think you're going to like on top of like extremely viral content, right? That's how like videos get millions of likes is because Instagram deems it to be like a very broad piece of content. It sends it to more people. Now, the reason this sucks, right? The reason this sucks for creators is it doesn't really allow you to build a community. Back to what we talked about earlier, right? The statistic, especially, nowadays, right? As time progresses, as time goes on, is more people are looking for just those relationships and they don't want to just like buy something from a random person. They want to buy something where they can like fully get behind their vision and their mission and their values. But if the person isn't even seeing your content on a consistent basis as they're scrolling the feed, then it doesn't give you the opportunity to build that relationship with people, for people to like really know who you are. So inherently as TikTok is just not a follower-based platform, it's just not really incentivized for you to create content there specifically because it's just not going to always get shown to that person, as opposed to on Instagram. If they like your stuff, if they followed you for a specific piece of content and you continue to make that piece of content, they're going to continue to see that. So coffee and content, here we go. So with all that being said, the other reason why it kind of hurts you is Instagram and TikTok, the way that they push your content is, we kind of talked about it, but just to get a little bit more data driven, we'll say, is Instagram, the way that what's going to happen is you're going to put out a piece of content, right? When you put out the piece of content, it is going to send it to a test group of your followers. So, you can look at this in the analytics of your posts. Whenever you post something for the first like hour to 2 hours, and this isn't like, a definite amount of time, because I don't think anyone really knows like the definite amount of time. But when you put out a piece of content, it's going to be sent to your followers, right? To their feeds. Depending on how many people are active, depending on how many people are on the platform, is what's happening is it's going to test like what is the watch time of that person that's watching your content. So how long are they watching the content? Are they engaging with the content? Are they commenting, right? Are they liking? Are they saving? Are they sharing? And then based on how it does on that initial test, if it passes the test, it gets sent out to more either of the followers, or it then now gets open to a different audience outside of your follower base. Now, the benefit of this is, and it can help you or you can hurt you, right? The benefit of it is if you're putting out content that people are expecting and they're going to see value out of that, they will engage with the content, right? So what that does is it allows it to go to more and more and more and more people, thus allowing your content to be seen by a larger audience. Now on TikTok side, however, it's completely different. Is what TikTok does is it basically will send your piece of content to a brand new audience every single time. So if you post something today, it's going to, let's call it 200, right? You send it, you send it now. And it really is, it's like a 200 to 300 person range, because you'll see, you probably have fallen into, people call it 200 to 300 view jail, is when you post it out there and it gets 200, 300 views, but it doesn't, it stops there. It's because what happens is TikTok sends it to an initial group of people. And if they don't engage and like and comment with it, it just stops. But the thing is, because it's not a follower heavy platform, is it's just getting sent to 200 random people. So if that person doesn't know who you are, what you stand for, your mission, your vision, your value, obviously, and it's like the first time they're seeing you, I don't know about you, but I'm a serial lurker. I don't like a lot of content. I don't, comment on a lot of content, but I like and comment on content of people that I want to support, of the content that I enjoy. So it's almost like TikTok is making you create super, super broad content because it sends it out to a new audience every single time. And if your content is too niched, right? If it's too niched into, let's say you're talking specifically about like marathon running or cooking or fishing. If those first 200 people, if none of them are a marathon runner, or if none of them are, a fisherwoman, whatever, or if, they don't like cooking, then it doesn't get pushed out to more people. Like for me personally, if I'm putting work and time and effort into content, is I want it to have the best chances of going out there, right? And actually seeing success. So it kind of sucks, being that that TikTok works that way. And that's why you see a lot of times these videos that go super crazy, mega viral, which it makes sense, right? Is because it's just broad. It's not a niche, right? It's like funny cat videos, or it's a prank video, or it's someone singing really well, right? Things that like anyone could resonate with, anyone could enjoy, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's really the main thing there. And then, so it's really just Instagram being more follower focused is why I believe you should focus a lot more time on that. And when I say, spending more time on these platforms, I'm not saying like don't post on TikTok. I'm saying that like the content should be catered towards Instagram. And if you want to like repurpose, cool. On that same note, is if you're someone that's like a, one-man band and posting on TikTok is like adding almost like a burden to you, I wouldn't even worry about TikTok, to be honest. Like I do it just from a, from like just to be on there standpoint, but not to, like, I'm not really expecting much from it, right? Because I'm repurposing the content over there. So anyway, that's really the second thing here. Now, the third thing is that you need to have 1,000 followers to put a link in your bio on TikTok. So there are some ways around this, right? If you have a business profile and you connect your EIN number, right? Your tax identification number or whatever, like you can do that. But like for most people, no one's going to do that, right? Especially if someone's like just starting a profile or just starting their business. Is like no one's going to go through that headache to do that. Again, I get why they do that. So you can't just like make an account and then post a link up there and it becomes like this spam page. But like TikTok, everyone's already spamming stuff on TikTok. So like what's another person having a link in bio going to mess up, right? So when you combine, it's almost like TikTok just doesn't care about new businesses or like new people that want to get started, because number one, you can't have a link in bio until you have 1,000 followers, right? And that could take one post, that could take 50 posts, right? On one of our accounts, one of the test accounts, is I've posted 50 times on TikTok and I'm at like 300 followers. But I also have a team that's editing the videos, that's uploading the videos, like a one-man per a band or, a couple of people, like they're not going to want to spend the time doing that. So number one is they don't have the link in bio. And then number two, they don't have the messaging system. So it's like, unless you have a video that goes crazy viral, which in 2024, it's not like it used to be in 2020, 2021, you could post literally anything and it just pops off and goes viral because like no one really knew about the platform and they had a lot more users that were just focused heavy on making content on, or more consuming content on TikTok, is like, it's just really difficult to get off the ground. As opposed to when I take that and in direct comparison to Instagram, where when you make an account, you immediately get your link in bio. So if you have 10 followers, all 10 of them could go to your link in bio and buy your thing if they wanted to. Statistically speaking, probably not going to happen, but you got the link in bio, right? Immediately. And you have the messaging platform that's available immediately, as opposed to, whatever they're trying to do, or not really even try to do over on TikTok. So that is like, that's the third thing. It don't really need to go more in depth of like not having a link in bio, but if you're looking to like make money on these platforms, like those are like the two main ways that you can do that. Like the only two ways that you can do it. Like if you don't have a link in bio, you don't have messaging, you don't have anything other than like views and likes, which I don't really care much about that. I don't even have a ton of followers on, our account, but I've been able to, make a good amount of money from it and continue to, to do well with, just over 1,000 followers at this point. So all that being said, I did not expect to get as emotionally charged with this episode as it did, but you know what? That's what this podcast is for. Giving my unfiltered opinion and thoughts on some of these social media platforms. If we just put a nice little bow on this, if you're a content creator, a course creator, a creator that wants to build a digital product or, a course or mentorship or things like that, 100% it needs to be spent on Instagram. Can you repurpose and put stuff on TikTok? Sure. You'll get some extra views. My strategy, just to, give you a little bit of insight. Once I do hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, which at this rate, it's going to be like 6 months from now, but I do plan to have a link in the bio there. But the link in bio, all it's going to be is a direct link into my DMs on Instagram. Now, I don't know if TikTok's going to like that too much, but TikTok does have, now giving you a little bit more strategy. If you are posting on TikTok, I would say that the best thing that you can do is make your bio, don't make it like go to a specific website because you can't have a link. I would say make your call to action on TikTok, DM me the word, insert keyword on Instagram or on IG for result, right? Whatever it is, for free document, for free training, for whatever. And then make sure you connect your Instagram account to your TikTok. And then maybe even like a little arrow down emoji or like a pointing down emoji, because then it like pushes them to your Instagram page. And that's kind of a little workaround that you can use when you don't have the link in bio feature on Instagram and you're just getting started over there. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know how long this episode has been, probably like 30 minutes or so, but I did talk a lot and complained a lot. So, hey, that's why we're here. Like I said, unfiltered conversations of content and communication. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section on YouTube. Leave a like as well. Let me know what you think of the episode. Also, if you're not already listening over on the podcast versions, we have Spotify as well as the iTunes and I think a couple others. And if you're listening on Spotify or the audio versions, make sure to go over down in the show notes. Is going to be over to the YouTube channel to make sure you can check it out. So that being said, Aaron here from the Content, Coffee, and Communication Podcast. We'll see you guys on the next one. Talk soon. Peace.